So are you ready for another adventure? An LA Fish Guy adventure? How about an LA Fish Guy Coral Reef Tank venture? That'll be fun, wouldn't it? Come along with us as we set up a 130-gallon Coral Reef Tank this morning. Okay, so we've just arrived at the residence. We're now starting to get stuff unloaded out of the two different vans. This is the glass tank itself and the canopy that was custom made for that tank. And in turn, that's the filter sump back there. And then this will get placed on top of a cabinet, an existing cabinet, that to raise the tank up to a viewable height, there's a riser platform. Scott is currently securing mounts to it so that the riser itself doesn't slide on the existing cabinet. There's a cutout there for the overflow, and the area has been modified to accommodate the tank and its plumbing. This side will be where the water pump goes, and this side is where the filter sump will go. The chiller will sit off to the side, and the tank itself again will sit on a riser or platform and then be displayed here. So that should be a pretty focal point of the living room itself. So Scott has the little brackets mounted on the inside of the riser. It's just a 6-inch riser, but if it just sat by itself on top of the cabinet there, we are in earthquake country and it could shake around, and I don't need 130 gallons of water moving around on top of that cabinet. So again, this riser will be now secured with those to the outer edges here of the stand. Now we just need to determine where we want the riser to sit. I have to allow for power cords to pass through the back side of the tank, and I guess we need to also take and make sure that this pad, apparently these fancy glass tanks now, rimless glass tanks, need some kind of a pad to sit on to compensate for any imperfections in the top of the stand. Otherwise there's a issue with the warranty on the tank. So just about ready to place at least the cabinet or the platform there to see where it's going to get mounted. So Condi is going to be doing the rock sculpture work for us today. He's picked out a bunch of branching pieces, flat pieces, bouldery pieces. He's going to do the drill some holes, and then like masonry, he's going to use some pins to attach all the pieces together so that we'll have some kind of spanning arches and open big areas and lots of landing zones. The only thing that I don't have today with me is the sand for the tank. I'll get that next week. That can be put in at a later time. So let's get to work. And speaking of work, Scott is already trimming the pad that will the tank will sit upon. He's made a cutout there for the overflow arrangement. He's now just kind of trimming it down so it fits the top of the platform. Now here's what I would do. Alright, so we've got the platform in position. Now it's just a matter of determining how much space we want to leave on the back side of the tank to allow for power cords and such. And then from there we can then mount the riser. Yeah, we also want to measure it and make sure it's centered on there as well.
So where's the tape measure? It's outside.
Both ways, right?
Yeah, well, what I've done is I've got it lined up from here, not the edge of the molding, but the edge of the flat surface. So this space here is equal to this space here.
And that's what's going to secure the platform to the cabinet, because those boards again are screwed in horizontally into the riser, and then we're now screwing them down into the top of the cabinet itself.
I'm thinking that we may be best off putting the bulkheads in first, laying it down face down, putting the bulkheads on, and then putting her up.
Okay.
Because I'll just do that once. And just
Okay, so what Condi is doing is he's made a
now,
kind of a template of the bottom of the tank with the tape, so that he has an idea as to what he can be building out here in the driveway, and now they're determining where the overflow goes. And so he'll kind of make a mock setup of the rockwork here and outside on the driveway of the inside of the tank, if that makes any sense. And then once we like that, we can then dismantle it and then move it into the tank itself.
Right there?
Yeah. Leave yourself space.
Blanket there.
What are we doing now?
Face down, lay it down on the bottom. Want to put the bulkhead in first, hopefully, is the idea.
We can't put it up on.
Bring your end over a little bit.
We could.
Bring this end over a little bit. Okay, the tank is in position. We've got it lying on its face. You can see the black back there. Scott is ready to put the Durzo standpipe in. That'll have to come in from this end here along with the return line.
I'm almost wondering if maybe we should put the return line in first. We're putting a little bit of silicone lubricant on the bulkhead seals. Not really necessary, but keep seals better, and it keeps the seals from drying out.
Looking down inside the internal overflow, you can see the bulkhead and elbowed barb fitting that will be at the top of the return line, and you can also see the two holes at the bottom of the overflow. The smaller hole is the 3/4 inch return line. The drain bulkhead includes a length of tubing that connects with the elbowed barb and bulkhead at the top of the overflow. Next is the Durzo style overflow pipe. This style of drain raises the water level inside the overflow, which decreases the falling water noise, and when properly assembled, creates a noiseless pseudo siphon.
Yeah, I guess everything's down at your end.
Now, why don't you hold that, it doesn't matter. You want to check and see if it's to your liking. You can go tighter on it, but if you watch, I don't want to pinch this, I don't want the ring pinching out. It's good to my liking, it ain't going anywhere.
Okay, so the pad is in place. Scott has it taped down so it doesn't jump up and get in our way. This is what the tank will sit on. I guess it's to compensate for any imperfections in the top of the stand, or in this case the top of the riser. And apparently without this, the manufacturer's warranty changes. I think that's a little slippery on their part, but I guess I kind of understand.
30 to 33 or 36.
Okay, so the plan?
It's going to be to get this thing up.
Okay, so we're going to tilt it up kind of on that front corner, just like when we came down. And we'll lift it up with that front corner aiming for right here. And between there and here, Mr. Laguna will make sure that the cardboard sleeves are off. The two of you somehow are on that side, but I don't see enough room for both of you.
No, what I'll do is I'll try
You're going to have to come around and just kind of help secure the front of the tank for him.
That's what we're going to have to do, yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Are you ready to update your aquarium lighting to LEDs, but are confused with the gimmicks, the colors, gadgets, and programming? Let Reef Bright help you with straightforward LED lighting strips. Similar to your old tube lighting, Reef Bright's XHO and Tech LED light strips are long, narrow units packed with a row of 1 or 3 watt LED bulbs, 3 color choices, a 10K white, a 50-50 mix, and a blue actinic. Reef Bright's LED light strips easily mount to the inside of your canopy or use the 3 or 5 unit mounting brackets to attractively suspend multiple strips over the top of your tank. Reef Bright also offers metal halides and metal halide LED combinations. You can find us on the internet at selected dealers and local fish shops, or visit us at reefbright.com. So, your cool nano reef tank is doing great, but you've got an algae problem? Consider the drop from Santa Monica Filtration. 7 sizes to easily fit into the filter compartment of most nano tanks. And just like their bigger cousins, the Hog and the Surf, all use air bubbles and LED light technology to grow algae. Algae that consumes nutrients. And that algae replaces itself at no new cost to you. For more information on Santa Monica Filtration's Drop, Hog, and Surf Algae Scrubbers, visit santa-monica.cc. Reef Hobbyist magazine believes that our hobby, our fellow hobbyists, and the animals in our care are best served by the free distribution of quality information. Reef Hobbyist magazine provides hobbyists with critical husbandry information with an emphasis on marine ornamental breeding efforts. Reef Hobbyist magazine is available for free in local fish stores across the country, or you can subscribe at www.reefhobbyistmagazine.com. As a reef aquarium, we decided on a glass tank, as it won't scratch as easily as an acrylic tank. But the downside to glass is it's heavy.
Starting to slip.
And this Euro-style diamond edge tank with perimeter bracing makes it even heavier.
Yeah, you guys got it wrong.
Okay, back.
And with the tank now positioned, Scott peels away the blue tape that protected the wood as we lifted the tank over the stand's edge.
So now comes the filter sump, and it's nothing more than a simple sump. It does have a micron sock in there. And now we just need to figure out how and where it best sits inside of there. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to bitch. And my bitch has to do with people who don't follow directions and don't pay attention. First of all, the electrician was not supposed to put that power outlet where it's at. It's just literally right in the wrong place. I mean, right up against the sump. and it either forces us to have to keep that filter sump slid out to the front edge to make room so you can utilize those back two outlets, and it's right there where all the moisture and such is going to occur. And the real frustration is, and if you'll step back here for a moment, if the guy had paid attention, oh gosh, is that a little indication where the power was supposed to go? What a bonehead. So we'll work around it. The thought was discussed about stopping the job and forcing the electrician to do the job properly, but that just creates an inconvenience for everybody. And, which brings me to my second bitch, and that is we've already waited 6 months for this riser and the canopy, and once again, the cabinet guy did not pay any attention to the notes I had made about how to make the cabinet and where the holes were going to go. I'll come back to that in a moment, but you gotta have these guys, they've gotta pay attention to what you do, because this is just stupid. That's a safety issue, it's an inconvenience issue, and I guess it came down to what was more convenient for the electrician guy. So anyhow, that's my little rant for this little video at the moment. Pay attention to what your fish guy wants. And once again, cabinet guys and electricians are not aquarium hobbyists, and they should not be allowed to do stuff on their own. And even if you give them notes and directions, they've got to pay attention. But I mean, this cabinet guy took 6 months just to... Anyhow, that's my bitch for the day. So we're in the process of defining where the components sit inside the sump. We've also got the algae scrubber that has to fit in here as well, so that's going to end up on the front side, which is going to push the protein skimmer back a little bit. We're trying to keep all the equipment so it's accessible from the front side of the cabinet, and at the same time trying to keep everything away from that electrical spot back there. And we all know that the protein skimmer is going to throw a little spray around, and there's probably going to be some spray from this, so we're trying to keep those away from the back of the sump. And again, the algae scrubber needs to sit to the front side of the sump, so
we'll never get that skimmer out once the sump goes in.
Yeah. Been down that road before. So
Literally, I don't
that's how the algae scrubber will fit in right up front. Well, this is where a lot of time ends up being consumed by just testing and determining where everything is going to sit.
Another one of the cabinet issues is the support bracing. Having a cabinet height of 20 inches, the inside bracing brings my vertical access down to 18 inches, which is about a ½ inch less than what I needed to be able to remove the cup off the protein skimmer. In other words, I can't get the skimmer cup out to empty it.
Get that positioned in there. We have to get that end of the hose onto that barb first.
Yep. So I think what I'm going to do is...
In addition to the drain into the top of the filter, we also have to drill the hole that the water pump's going to draw from.
Alright, so we marked our hole. We also took into account neoprene pad under the pump. So it lines up center with the inlet side of the pump.
And as we come along on the installation on the inside. Condi's coming along quite well with his mock-up here of the Rockwork. That'll go inside the tank. Quite branchy and unique. Lots of little landing zones for corals to sit. Lots of spots for fish to swim through. Oh boy, that's going to be exciting. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I love the place.
Very cool.
The hole in the sump drilled and the sump slid into place. Scott is now tightening the bulkhead that the water pump will thread
We're using
into.
Teflon paste, not Teflon tape. I only have one minor concern, and that's coming out of here with the elbow. Going up. You'd have been better off coming out of here with a straight nipple. Follow what I'm saying? You can get in here with your fat fingers. Open and close that valve just
And with the water pump assembly now completed, it's time to position it next to the bulkhead so we can thread it in.
Now, the question is, I mean, this will be okay, yes?
Oh yeah.
Come up straight, you end up with a sag in there.
Yeah. So part of the issue of doing all of this, you can plan in advance for all of the things you think you need, but the reality is that things change once reality sets in, meaning you show up and go, oh, I didn't remember that was there. So what we're doing now is we've got the plumbing pretty much done for the tank. Now trying to determine the electrical needs, and before we go to lunch, which is next door to the hardware store, we need to define if we need to pick up anything extra. So we've got lights on the top that require power. We've got the Jabos for internal circulation. They both require power. The Jabos have their own little controller, so that's something that kind of needs to be mounted. We ought to think of something to help us mount those.
Double-sided tape.
And
Velcro.
any extra power strips or anything like that. So I think we've got far enough along to determine A, we can go to lunch, and B, while we're at lunch, what I need to get at the hardware store. So make it a point, come on back for part 2 of this big fancy glass reef tank installation.